From the very beginning of the Uvalde shooting, that tragedy was made worse by virtually everything the cops chose to do and the ways that they chose to misinform the public about what actually happened. And day after day, we would learn more and more of the stuff that they had said that was just not true. And almost always, it was designed to cover up their own failures. The fact that they did not react when they were supposed to, the likelihood that more people died as a result of it. And you might be surprised to find out that there is still more we could find out, actually. There is, in theory, body cam footage that we could take a look at, but they don't want you to. And isn't that convenient? The group that's been lying the whole time, that massively failed those kids, now doesn't want you to learn more about what they were doing and saying on that day. So they're evading requests for records that are coming in from a lot of different people. And we want to break down what they're saying, their argument as to why we shouldn't see that footage. The Texas Department of Public Safety, they asked the state's Office of the Attorney General to prevent the public release of police body camera footage from the mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, in part because, it argues, the footage could be used by other shooters to determine weaknesses in police responses to crimes. In the letter, attorneys revealed there have been 148 requests for information that have been made to the city from May 25th, right following the attack, to June 7th by media organizations and individuals. So don't do it, don't give in, because that may allow other shooters to determine weaknesses in police responses to crimes. And I would like to just get out in front of this and say, you don't need to worry about that, okay? You don't need to worry about them poring over the footage and figuring out their weaknesses, because they're all there everywhere. Everybody in the country knows about your weaknesses. You don't go in. That's a pretty significant weakness, that they could just go in there, begin killing people, and an hour can go by. We don't need body cam footage to know about your weaknesses. Literally everyone does. That's why you're saying this, because of your weaknesses. But they're trying to stop people from, I don't know, maybe overhearing on the body cam footage what people, including the chief in charge, was saying, Yaz. Maybe conversation between the officers. Maybe there were cops who were frustrated and wanted to go in, but were being stopped from it. I don't know, but if they get their way, we will never know. What do you think?
Yeah. And unfortunately, they might get their way, right? I mean, they're the ones who are holding on to these body camera footage. And the thing is with a lot of this is that it is just another deflection. And we're so used to we're like bouncing off deflections all the time, just trying to like get straight to the actual issue, which is gun control in America, or like what Matthew McConaughey was talking about, gun responsibility, whatever you want to call it, right? It's just another deflection, right? And also, if you have camera footage and you don't want people to see it, isn't that already just kind of an inherent admission of guilt, right? But then the problem is that some people would hear their reasoning behind why they don't want the public to see this footage and say, oh yeah, maybe they have a point. But it's like what you said, anyone can tell you what the weaknesses were based on the information that we already know, the things that we've already seen, right? And then the officer who was in charge, he came out days after, like way after the actual shooting happened. And he said, yeah, I did everything that I should have done. And I'm proud of the response and all that. And he didn't say anything out of respect for the families, which was just more of an insult than anything he could have otherwise said. And I mean, that guy, I think it was the next day or 2 days after the shooting, he swore in as a member of the city council. And to be fair, he was elected prior to the shooting, but the decent thing would have been to step down, because if you are given so much responsibility and you do not wield it correctly, you don't get to have more. You shouldn't be allowed to have more responsibility.
That is so reasonable, but going along with that would hamper his political ambitions. So he's not going to do that. But no, you're totally right. And look, some people in the chat, I understand, are saying that all of this footage should be made instantly available in every case. And I understand the concern. There are actual concerns though about, when cops talk to people who've been sexually assaulted and everything, do you want that body cam footage being publicly available to literally anyone else? I'm assuming the victims in most cases do not. So you can't have just everything be like dumped in a Dropbox as soon as it's recorded. But that said, look, who's buying their argument about trying to make it so that shooters can't determine how they detect and investigate things? We know how they do it. They set up the tape and then they stand there for an hour, okay? We understand their tactics. They're just trying to cover their asses. And this is the case where somebody needs to be empowered to step in and make sure that that footage is made available.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.